Hey everyone, today's video is going to be about the finance of my Porsche 718 GTS Cayman 4 litre. If you've been watching the videos, you know that car arrived with me back in October 2022. It's now February 2023. That means I've owned the car for just over 4 months. I've made 3 full monthly payments on the car. And I'm just going to go through what my actual finance agreement was, where I currently stand with it, and how it sits in the marketplace on where its value is based on how much I've maybe lost on it so far, or where I'm sitting with equity in it at the moment. So that car came into me, it should have been delivered ages ago, but it took until October last year for it to turn up, and I actually ordered the car in September 2021. So that price was honoured from 2021 when I actually placed the car, not at the price that I probably would have paid had I ordered it later into 2022, which means I started with a cheaper price to begin with when I did my finance. Now that car, if we take a look at the spec sheet that's on the screen, the total value of that car came in at $68,922. That is including the VAT, but it is before any sort of road charges, which is the registration fee in the UK, the road tax for the first year, which is a premium here in the UK when it's over £40,000 new. So all of those costs actually brought the entire value of that car to £70,992. So that's just a smidge under £71,000. Now I actually added the cost of my ceramic coating to the car as part of the finance deal. So that in total, if you add that on, was £399 extra, which brings it to £71,391. So that entire figure is basically what the car cost for me to purchase and buy at the dealer and drive off. Now, obviously, you have to put a down payment down. So in my case, as is with everybody else's when they're buying a Cayman from the dealer, brand new, you have got a £3,000 deposit to put down. Now that is sitting with the dealer. That is going to go towards my down payment on the car when I actually come to do the finance. So £3,000 was my starting figure. I actually upped that so that my down payment on the car to get the finance package down on the monthly payments mostly to where I felt I was comfortable with it was another £13,500. So that in total brought me to a upfront payment on the finance of £16,500. So that left me with a amount to finance of £54,891. So out of that £54,891, my final payment at the end of the agreement is £48,029.15, which means that the difference I'm paying down over the 36 months of my monthly payments is £6,861.85. So how does that actually work out when it comes to financing the car in terms of the payments? Well, I decided to take that car over a 36-month period. I am paying 36 payments and then a final payment to complete the contract and purchase the car at the end of it if I decide to keep it. If I don't, that is the final value I'll have to clear if I am trading it in or coming at the end of a contract and I'm giving them the car back. It needs to clear that value at the end. Incidentally, that deal is also based on 5,000 miles a year, which is the lowest that I could put it down to. I've chosen to do that because basically I've either traded the car in to We Buy Any Car here in the UK and had them settle the finance off for me, which meant I didn't incur any excess mileage charges with the finance company, or I've sold it back to the dealer in terms of the original Cayman that I had and they settled the finance off. Again, I didn't incur any mileage. So that's the finance package as a whole. What would be the case if I was deciding to trade this car? Now, this car is looking like it's starting to fall back into the normal used groove, like what I would expect to be the used car market prior to the pandemic issues that we had to deal with. Now, if anybody's watched the other videos and you've seen that I previously had a 992, I chose at the height of what I thought was the second-hand value of that car during the shortage of vehicles being available to sell it at an 18-month point for basically what I paid for it, which meant that it really only cost me the first year's road tax and some interest on the loan for the period that I owned it. The rest of it kind of covered the original cost of the car, meaning I came out of it with the deposit back that I originally put in. So this car at the moment, based on what I found, is not following the same principle. The market has changed, it has downturned back to where it was. However, I'm going to show you in a little bit the fact that there really isn't any cars on the market at the moment, and it's interesting to see what I'm about to tell you about the We Buy Any Car values I've had when I've been checking against what people are still trying to charge for the very minimal amount of 4-litre GTS PDKs that seem to be available at the moment. So if we look at the figures, I've just checked every odd month because basically it takes me 2 seconds, it's free, and I can just see where the value lies. I was always told whenever you bought a new car from the dealer that usually the moment you drove that car off of the forecourt, you were going to basically lose the value of the VAT off the car. The car would then become worth trade-in less the VAT that's on there. My car, £71,000 less 20% VAT, as you can see here, comes to £57,767. So we're not far away from that value. So if we take a look to start with, I've gone to the GB Porsche Great Britain section of the used cars available through their dealer network. Now I've gone through, we've picked out the 718 series, I've gone to the model variant at the 718 GTS 4-litre, and if we take a look, it's saying here it can only find 9 cars. Now, out of those 9 cars, we can see that the first one's a manual, second one's a manual, the third one's a manual, the fourth one's a manual, the fifth one's a manual, the sixth one's a manual, and the first PDK that we come to is actually this lava orange, which is a 2021 car. It's now 2 years old with 2 previous owners, and it's only done 8,656 miles. Now I've taken a little look at this car, and the spec of this car is basically this on the configurator. However, I can't pick lava orange anymore, but I believe its price was originally about the same as whatever the lizard green was, which is now a python green as an option. So we're looking at it as a special color, I think. So the special colors all being in the 1658 range. I've spec'd the car as it's been spec'd on the Porsche website, and you can see it comes to 78,255. That is at the current prices, not probably the price that that car was originally spec'd at, which is maybe 2 or 3% lower than what it was on this configuration. But if we take a look, they're asking £73,990 for it. Now that car will have incurred the first year's £2,000 road tax on it when it was new, because it was over 40,000. That basically should be included in that price as a carry on. Usually they've told me that that would be added on. So we're looking at a car there that's about 5,000 less than what its spec price was, and they're still going to have to pay £500 road tax on it in the first year. That car is not being sold like for like, new for all prices, even on 2 years old. But that is the current first cheapest PDK model they have within the dealer network that's currently being advertised at the moment that I'm checking at this car. If we have a little look on Auto Trader, you'll see what the outside dealer cars are that are available in a PDK, so let's check that out as well. If we look here, the very first car that I could find out of 5 that are available as a PDK on the entire Auto Trader listings at 4 litres. So we take a look at this one at the top and we'll click into it. You can see that it's listed at 72,990. If we take a look at this car in general with the pictures, it does have the standard lights on that comes with the car that mine does. It's got the standard wheels on that comes with my car. This looks like the Guards red in terms of colour. And if we go inside, they've not added anything extra. They've got the same level of trim in here. They've made the seats leather rather than taking the race text on it. Just for reference there, they've been good. They've included the free footwell storage net that everybody should put on their car when they buy it. But there's nothing on here that looks like it's an extra. So just lastly, just as a matter of interest, I've just done a quick crunch of numbers to see roughly where I might sit with equity left in this car, because if I've got 58,000 and a bit as an offer as a trade price. If I went and traded it in, where do I stand on the balance of the finance? Well, obviously I owe that final payment that came in at £48,000. I'm also gonna owe 33 months worth of payment that I'm paying down. So really, if we take a look at that against what the trading value is in equity left in the car at the moment, which after 4 months of ownership really isn't great.